With an introduction. Today is the 24th of September 2012. We're in Troy, New York at the Troy Senior Center. My name is Wayne Clarke. I'm with the New York State Military Museum in Saratoga Springs. I have the privilege of interviewing two brothers today, and we're going to do a group interview. And we'll start off with Joe. Will you please state your full name and date and place of birth, please?
Joseph F. Santa-Lucia, Albany, New York, 28th of September, 1938.
Okay, Robert.
Robert Santa-Lucia, Cohoes, New York, January 28th, 1945.
Right. And you guys attended school where?
Shenandoah.
Shenandoah.
Yeah.
And what years did you graduate? Or
I got a GED. I
okay.
finished. I left it when I went in the Air Force. I quit and I went in the Air Force.
Okay.
So I got a GED.
I graduated in '64.
All right. Now you went into the Air Force first.
Yes, 1957.
57. Did you enlist or were you drafted?
I enlisted.
Okay. And why'd you pick the Air Force?
Because my friend went in with me, and his brother was in the Air Force, and he talked us into it. I mean, you know, there was nothing going on at that time. It was peacetime when Eisenhower was in.
Okay.
So, you know, I just decided to go in and travel around and maybe get some kind of an education or background with the Air Force, which they sent me to school and aircraft mechanics and, you know, other things. So I was okay, pretty good at it, you know.
Okay. And Robert, when did you go in?
December '66.
And were you drafted or did you enlist?
No, I enlisted. Yeah.
Okay. And you went into the Army?
U.S. Army, yeah.
And why did you pick the Army?
Because my brother Dennis was in the Army.
Ah, okay.
He's 2 years younger than me. He's in California now, but he's a Vietnam vet too.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually stationed together in Vietnam.
Oh, that's interesting. Now,
That's a story all of its own.
Now, whereabouts did you go for your basic?
Fort Dix.
Okay. And from there, did you go on?
From there, went out to Vietnam.
Well, did you go to, what sort of MOS did you have?
Oh, I was actually a clerk typist when I started out.
Okay. Did you go to a clerk typist school after
Well,
basic?
you go to AIT right after basic, right on the same post.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, right out of AIT, you went to Vietnam.
Right to Nam, yeah.
Okay. Whereabouts did you land in Vietnam?
Long Binh.
And whereabouts did they assign you?
They assigned me to headquarters company, 34 General Support Group, which was in Tan Son Nhut Air Force Base.
Okay.
I wasn't there long, but we moved. We moved to Cho Lan after that. So we had nice quarters in Tan Son Nhut. The Air Force had it made. Hot and cold water. Yeah, hot and cold running
That's why I
water.
went in the Air Force.
I was in the Army in Vietnam too, and I got to visit Tan Son Nhut, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, we weren't there long. I was there about a month. Then
Okay.
they moved us to Tent City B, Cho Lan. Yeah.
Were you ever under fire or attack?
Well, I was there for the Tet Offensive. in
Oh, you
68.
were.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
You want to tell us what that was like for you?
Well, my brother was with me at that time.
How did that transpire?
Well, he went in the Army 6 months before me,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a medic. He was stationed in Frankfurt, Germany, and I was in Vietnam. That was May of '67 when I went to Nam.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, we're just writing letters back and forth, and he didn't like Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me he was going to volunteer for Nam. And he says, anything going on? I said, well, not at this particular time, not here.
Yeah.
You know. And he volunteered, and I had a liaison down in 90th Replacement Battalion that was supposed to divert him to my unit or our compound, and it didn't happen. I got an in-country letter from him from Lai, which is a very, very dangerous place to be. Like, and I couldn't, I said, wait, how come he's in country? And, you know, the guy never did it. He never diverted it, right?
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I went through the chain of command. I ended up in General Westmoreland's office. We'll make a long story short. I was a PFC, and he told us, he says, you know, either one of you can go home, because you're not supposed to have family members within a war zone. And we both chose not to.
Yep.
And he says, I'll take care of it. So the next day, the next morning, Top Sergeant comes up to me and says, you want to use my 3/4? I said, for what? He said, go pick your brother up at Long Bend. What? 4-star general ahead of all the forces in Vietnam. I mean, you know. So yeah, I went and picked him up, but he's a medic.
Yep.
So he was stationed in, they stationed him in Saigon Hospital.
Uh-huh.
So I dropped him off there, and I said, well, whenever we get a pass, we'll see each other, whatever, you know.
Yep.
Next morning, he's got his duffel bag, and he's in the doorway of my billet. And I said, you got a pass already? He says, no. He says, the captain found out that we're brothers and assigned me to the dispensary on your compound.
Wow.
So that's how he ended up being there with me,
Uh-huh.
which was not a good thing for when the Tet Offensive happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he was taking care of the wounded and everything, and I was out in the foxhole. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Were either one of you wounded at all during?
No.
No.
Just by my wife.
Yeah,
I
right.
met her in California and I married her.
All right. Now you met your wife while you were in the Air Force.
I was in the Air Force, yes.
Okay.
In
That's it.
Sacramento, California.
So they sent you
Cleveland
out.
Field, yeah.
Now, what did you do out there?
I was power operator and generator for the base,
Mm-hmm.
running the communications, like, you know,
Mhm.
starting up the generators, 600 kWs, and I was also on the flight line for a while. But I changed career fields because it was more opportunity and it was better hours. And,
Yep.
you know how it was like. It was more like a job in the Air Force than what he was.
Sure.
What those two guys went through, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have any. There was nothing going on at that time.
Mhm.
So, and after I got married, the children started coming, and I got out. I took an early out. I
Okay.
got out, so you know.
So you
couldn't
decided-
live on what I was getting.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay wasn't too good then.
No.
Okay. So you got out and entered civilian life again.
Right.
When were you discharged?
I was discharged in 58, the last part of 58,
Okay.
because I met my wife out when I was stationed out there.
Okay. And then you came back here.
Yeah.
And
Came
what,
back
what
here.
sort of work did you do?
I worked in garages for years. You know, I did a lot of mechanical work and
Mhm.
body work, stuff like that.
Okay.
And, then later on in my life, I went to work for the Lake George Club up in Diamond Point, and I was a maintenance supervisor up there until I retired.
Oh.
So, you know, it was a good job.
Now, did you stay in contact with anyone you were in the service with?
Yeah, a couple of people. One from Oklahoma, he was an Indian,
Mhm.
and I knew a guy from San Bernardino, California.
Mhm.
I met out there, yeah. Other than that,
Okay.
I had a very nothing like these two guys went through.
Now,
Mine was like a tour, you know. Mine was like a tour, you know what I'm saying?
now, did you make use of the GI Bill at all?
I never used the GI Bill.
Mhm.
No, I did. Yeah, I did. I went to welding school.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And did you join any organizations like the Legion or?
No, I never joined anything. I've always been into music and stuff, and I haven't had time to really do anything.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, how did you?
Oh,
become
I've been
musicians?
playing since I was 6 years old. My uncle played banjo in speakeasies here in Albany for years, and he taught us all the old music.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure. And we've been doing
We've
that.
always had
We were little
music.
kids. I was 6 years old when I started. You
Hmm.
know, playing the mandolin. And, yeah, so.
Now, is it hard to learn? What's harder to learn, the mandolin or the banjo?
They're basically the same. They're just tuned different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the tenors.
Okay.
The tenor
Fourth
banjo,
strings.
tenor guitar. I play the 6-string also, 6
Oh.
string. When rock and roll came in, I switched to the 50s stuff.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't see too many tenor guitars anymore,
No, I got one down there.
do you?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay. And what instrument do you play, Robert?
Just guitar.
Guitar.
I taught myself on about 15. Started bands, and my brother Dennis and I have been in the band Jade, actually 42 years.
Wow.
Till he moved. But the band's still together. My cousin jumped in and took his place. So.
Now, what's the name of the band?
Jade.
Oh, Jade,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we played wedding banquets and all that for like 15 years, you know, every weekend. Now we play concerts. You know, we just played a concert at the barn in Colony. We played a concert at the amphitheater. We just did a wedding in Guilderland. And yeah, we keep, you know, one a month's good for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be doing 3 a weekend like I used to. But I used the GI Bill also. I went to Hudson Valley Community College.
Oh, okay. What did you get your degree in?
In marketing, but I never went into marketing. I went to work for Key Bank as a collector, outside collector, repossessions.
Now, did you retire from Key Bank?
No, I was only there a couple of years and I heard about a state job opening up. And I spent 30 years at New York State Higher Education.
Oh,
Defaulted student loans.
Okay.
Also collections, but on the phone.
Okay.
No confrontations out there, you know.
Now, this was locally, or?
Yeah, oh yeah, right in Albany, yeah.
Okay.
Twin Towers was where we were, our office was, yeah.
And what year did you retire?
2004, I retired to watch my grandson Nicholas for my daughter, so retired early.
Okay. Now, let me just go back to Vietnam. What happened after Tet?
Tet was, that was a mess, I'll tell you, that was bad news.
Yeah.
But,
Did you have any casualties in your unit?
oh yeah, in the compound,
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a lot of slides. In fact, I'm just starting to go through them. I'm going to have them put on DVD.
Oh.
I get slides, because I volunteered as a door gunner, too.
Oh, you did?
On a chopper. Oh, yeah.
Oh, tell us about that. Was it a...
Yeah, I did. Well, what it wasn't a combat.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a combat gunship. It was, what we used to do is we used to take people within country or Cambodia, all within South Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we got fired on a few times, but I mean, it wasn't a real combat mission, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I got a lot of great aerial shots of Vietnam, the Cambodian border. I got shots of Premier Key's Palace, which isn't even there anymore.
Mm.
I got some really good stuff that should be shared, you know, on slides.
Yep.
So I got to take it to a place after I figure out the order I want them in. Of course,
Yep.
a lot of pictures of my brother and I, Dennis and I,
Sure.
and put them on DVD.
Yeah, we'd be interested in a copy of that.
People would love to, yeah, they would. They love to see that, you know, because
Got a lot of
because when you're a gunner, you're sitting on the outside of the ship,
Oh,
so
Yep.
you're like, you know, so all you do is just turn your camera to infinity and you know. So
Now, you spent a year in Vietnam,
yeah,
and your brother did also.
yeah.
Did you guys come home together?
No, because he went in the Army before me too. So, and he came
After.
he volunteered,
I
so
see.
I was already there. It took him a couple
Okay.
months to get there,
Okay.
and he got stationed at the hospital in Denver, Colorado. I went to Fort Devens,
I see.
so he ETS'd out of there, and I did out of Mass.
Okay.
So,
And when did you ETS?
oh God, let's see, what was it? They gave me an early Christmas drop because I went in right after Christmas in '66.
Mm-hmm.
On the 11th of December, I remember the exact date, because I don't drink, and that was probably one of the 3 times in my lifetime I've ever been drunk. It was the night before I got out of the Army. I couldn't wait to go back to being a civilian.
So you had about 2 years, 9 months, and did you get like a 3-month early out, or?
No, just the 11th of December, I got like 15-day early out.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I had 3 years, yeah.
Okay.
I'm credited with 3 years, yeah.
Okay. Now, did you make use of the GI Bill at all?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you went to Hudson Valley.
yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned you're active in the VFW.
Oh yeah, I've been there for years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been an officer for years. I was junior vice, and I was a whole bunch of, now I'm service officer.
Mm-hmm.
So any of the veterans want a medal they never got,
Yeah.
Any help that they need, that's what I'm there for.
Okay. Now, did you stay in contact with anyone outside of your brother?
No, because as you know, in the Army, you always go by last name.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a lot of last names, but I don't remember their first names. I don't remember. We didn't even call each other by our first name.
Right.
And I just
Yeah.
remember,
Sure.
some guys, one guy's name was Neely, he's a friend of mine. He's from Florida, but where? And what's his
Yeah.
first name? What's his middle initial? I mean,
Sure.
No, I've never been in contact, no.
Now, what about the unit you were with? Did they have any reunions that you know of? Or?
No, I keep checking because I get the VFW, I get DAV too. I'm a disabled vet because Agent Orange, I was exposed to Agent Orange and I got diabetes.
I see.
So I'm actually a disabled veteran. So the government pays for my medicine and,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Do you get any sort of disability pension on it?
Yeah, oh yeah, you
Okay.
get a little check every month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And how do you think your time in the service changed or affected your life?
Just made you appreciate life more, that's all. I mean, Vietnam, the people, I mean, they could build their house in about 3 hours
Mm-hmm.
out of cardboard. I mean, I had a very close relationship with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
the local kids, and I got pictures of them too,
Okay.
tons of pictures of them. And in fact, they even helped me fill sandbags when the Tet Offensive.
Oh, really?
Oh, I got a picture. Oh yeah. Little boys and girls, the local kids down at the bombity bomb stands. And
Mm-hmm. Now, did you ever go back?
No, I don't want to go back.
You don't. You wouldn't want to go back.
No.
I don't know. I hear it's a lot different there than it was when
Yeah,
we were there.
yeah. Well, we had a lot of VC that used to work for us, but we didn't know it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you always had to check them out and everything. But like the Tet Offensive, I think it was 2 or 3 days, 2 days before they started the Tet and they started overrunning all of South Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come to work. A lot of the Vietnamese help didn't come to work. Why? Because they were VC, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big push. But we actually won Tet. I mean, it was like 11 killed to 1 of ours,
Yeah.
so it was a success driving them out of there,
Mm-hmm.
And I got pictures of some of it. Some of it was X-rayed, and they would have came out better, the slides.
I see.
But they didn't come out that good, some of them, because of the X-ray machine.
Okay.
Well, a lot of GIs you send home live Claymore mines and stuff. I mean, that's great.
Jeez.
Yeah, oh yeah. One plane that blew out the side of the plane. It was in the cargo hold.
Jeez.
Yeah. And a lot of guys used to, if they weren't combat vets, they used to buy bloody pictures and send them home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I took pictures of the best part of Vietnam I could find. The aerial shots of the rice paddies and the water buffalo and the palm trees and the kids. I always sent positive stuff. You don't want them knowing. I mean, they're worried enough about you, your parents.
Right.
My mom had to worry about 2 sons over there.
Yep.
So Westmoreland, he was a very down to earth guy. I couldn't believe him.
Yeah. Very
I
nice.
was an E4 by the time. I think it was an E Specialist 4 because I didn't make sergeant until I got back here. So.
But you found him to be a very nice.
Oh yeah. He says, "Geez, you're awful nervous. You sit down." I was. He says, I was never a PFC. He says because he went to military academy.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, you guys are doing a great job. But he.
I guess he was pretty good.
He didn't mess around. I tell you, man. I mean, the next morning, I'm going to get. And the funny thing is there was a convoy going by on Highway 1, and I wasn't paying attention. and I clipped him. And that's my first sergeant's baby, his truck, right? Took the bumper went like that. And I said, oh my God, am I gonna be in trouble or what? I'm gonna be pulling KP for about 3 months, right? And I stopped at a repair facility and they straightened it out. I told them, I had to tell them anyway, because it wasn't perfect. That's all right, you know. He was good, he was good.
Now, Joe, how about you? How do you think that your time in the service changed or affected your
Well,
life?
I learned a lot. I wasn't very smart at that time. I was just a kid, you know what I mean? When I went in, it was, yeah, I just did it for the experience.
Yeah,
It was
how
nothing.
old were you when you went in?
Oh, I was,
You were young.
18 and 19. Yeah, exactly.
I was
Yeah.
22.
Not very long. My wife was 17, and I was supposed to get permission from the base commander to get married, and then we went to Nevada and got married. And I was always that kind of a person, you know. I was never a military person, you know what I mean? And it just, you know, it was okay. It was all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as long as my discharge is honorable, I said, I'll take it.
We try and do as much. We're trying to recruit. We've got some Iraq veterans, we get some Afghan veterans, not many,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trying to recruit them in because when I was going through basic, the NGs, as we call them, right,
Mhm.
were there too,
Yep.
and they used to bust on us all the time. Oh, you guys, you're going to be going to Nam. We're going home, always.
Yeah.
And now it's a total turnaround.
Yep.
They're doing 3 tours.
I know.
3 tours. That's not right. 1 tour in a war zone is, if you can get through 1 tour, you're lucky. And I got friends right now that, my daughter's friend Timmy that's over there, he's got 3 months to go. And your grandson,
Yeah, he's over in Jordan. He
was
taught how to
in,
speak German.
he's a ranger.
Or, no, Russian, I'm sorry.
Oh.
My daughter works at the VA, and she got 20 years in the Air Force. She retired as far as she could go.
Mm-hmm.
She's in that. She was in that. My son was in the Air Force also. He was in for quite a while, a long time. So, you know, he didn't stay in. He was at 4 years, I guess. That's
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was interesting, though. I met a lot of nice people, and, you know, it was good times.
A lot of the youngsters
We were just
don't wanna-
kids.
They're too busy raising their families and stuff. Even when I was raising mine, I wasn't in a VFW or anything, you know?
Mhm.
So it's tough getting them to join,
Sure.
but we need to because we get some World War II vets that, you know, 1,000 a day dying.
Yep.
And pretty soon there's going to be, and the Korean War vets are up there too. Our quartermaster is,
Yep.
he's about 78 years old or something. I mean, God, that's Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want the boats to fold because we do a lot of good,
Yeah.
you know.
My cousin was in Korea, and he got discharged, and after the war was over, he got discharged, and he came home, and his friend called him up and said, he was getting married, and he says, we've got a puppy over here for you guys, you know, so he went over, and he was going down the cellar stairs, and his friend was using the drill, and it bit Bo, right in his
Lost
eye.
his
He
eye.
lost his eye.
So he got through Korea with no
Yeah,
problem.
just came home.
And he came home and got wounded.
Jeez.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's still alive. He's still
But the important
Very
thing,
brave.
the important thing to remember about Vietnam is that all of us were the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
When we got home, when I landed in Oakland, there was hippies there and there was spitting on us. And, I mean, it was really bad.
That was
And it
bad.
took a lot of years before, you know, Desert Storm, I think, was the first time that the American people said, you know, they're soldiers, they volunteered to put their lives on the line, and they're, you know,
Yep.
it's not their fault. The politicians started the wars, you know, and that's really where it's at. So now they get the respect, and they're backed by the American people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they
But
should.
we didn't, ever,
Yeah.
you know, until it got popular to be, you know, all of a sudden they said, oh, wow, we got to make up to these Vietnam vets for this. That was back in probably the, what, mid-70s? They
Yeah.
started doing benefits. And,
Yep.
Like Gary Sinise is one of our biggest champions
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
We just played for him down at
Yeah.
the Armory.
Oh,
the
did you?
banjo band, I played with the banjo. He was
Yeah.
he brought, he was a bass player too, and he plays in a band, and
Yep.
he came down, and he brought the crippled wounded guy, in the Air Force, I think he was in the Air Force, in a wheelchair, and brought him in there. You know, he's always into this
Yep.
stuff, you know.
Yep.
Well, he took Bob Hope's place. Bob
Yeah.
Hope did all that, you know.
Right. I see Bob Hope, yeah, once.
Yeah, I did too.
Did you?
Did you?
Vietnam, yeah.
Yeah,
did you?
Vietnam.
Yeah.
I saw Martha Ray in Vietnam.
Oh, did you
I never
really?
saw Bob Hope.
Oh.
No.
I
Yeah.
see Jimmy Durante, I see
Yeah.
a few of them.
There was a lot of them that went over there. A lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were good.
All right, well, thank you so much.
All
for
right.
all of you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.